for you with everything from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about.
Whoa, that's a job for cleanup, which would be me.
Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
It's time for some delicious food at Pizza Dilly. Pizza Dilly Pizza in Colton, home of the famous 2-foot pizza with 32 slices of simply the best delicious Pizza Dilly mouth-watering pizza. Pizza Dilly has all kinds of lunch specials Monday through Friday, starting at $3.99, all delicious. Stop by, refresh, refuel, have a cold drink, enjoy a tasty salad or a great specialty Dillylicious sub sandwich, or simply Dilly-lightful Pizza Dilly wings. Pizza Dilly is also People Dilly because your friends are all already there enjoying one of Pizza Dilly's giant screens, watching one of their favorite teams, and if you love the Dodgers, you'll love Pizza Dilly, your hometown Dodger station, all year round. Come on in, enjoy a great pizza, enjoy Pizza Dilly, the real Dilly deal at 194 East Valley Boulevard in Colton, or call 909-370-0242. Once again, that's 909-370-0242.
KCAA. Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. To be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate, to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Peck on UBNradio.com.
And welcome. My name is Dr. Marissa, affectionately known as the Asian Oprah, and you are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every weekday Tuesday at naturally high noon on Universal Broadcasting Network out of the Sunset Gower Studios, and Thursday and now Saturday on my syndicated CNBC News Radio channel KCAA AM 1050. And you can also call in on that 832-999-1050 if you are not near a car. So there's plenty of ways to get me, and this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show, your own life, and how to be happy 88% of the time. And yes, Marvin Gaye is in the studio because it is the last week of the month. And before that, I just wanted to give a peace shout in and out to Amanda at DMV. I know I had to go to the DMV. It was a long story, but I found someone very helpful. And so I wanted to say peace in and peace out to her. But back to sex. Every last week of the month for the last year, I have focused on sexual healing based on some personal, and also having Dr. Pat Allen on back in Valentine's a year ago. And what came out of that session was, one, this outpouring from my listeners saying, oh my gosh, that was so great. You know, it's great that you talk about sex, and it's great that you talk about pleasure, because we're not comfortable talking about it, or I'm not comfortable with my own body. I'm not feeling like I'm getting satisfied. I don't think I'm too old for sex. I'm too hurt to have a relationship. And so this series was born. And so if you've missed any of the episodes, I've had great guests, Davey Ward, popular co-host of mine, Dr. Robin Milhausen out of University of Guelph, Human Sexuality Studies, lots of researchers, as well as those trying to help with sexual healing. Dr. Nina Smart, trying to reduce female genital mutilation in Sierra Leone. So tons and tons and tons, well, not that many, hundreds of wonderful episodes around healing when it comes to this one area of life that is absolutely can make happy or very unhappy. And today is no exception to the rule. I have brought all the way, actually, from my other station, from KCAA, Linda Gross, who is an author and also another co-host on KCAA on a show called The Men's Advocate. And she just came out with her newest book called let's see, where is it? It is Mastering Women, The Definitive Guide to Answering and Being Effective with Women. She's interviewed about 20,000 people, not that many. And so she's here in the studio. Please, without further ado, welcome Linda Gross.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you here. And so let's get right to it because I was on your show a couple of weeks ago, and you definitely are the men's advocate. You take the men's side. Did this happen gradually? How did this all come about? Why are you so pro men?
I think men today don't have a voice. Since Women's Lib, and Women's Lib, I think, started out with a great premise, equal pay for equal work, and this happened because of the invention of the pill. Prior to the pill, women had to stay home and be barefoot and pregnant and get pregnant, whenever their body told them to get pregnant. With the advent of the pill, they could delay that. So now women had options. They could go to school. They could get their education. They could start a career. They could get a job. They could feed their little ones. So all of that changed then. And then I think, unfortunately, these women could not solve the equal pay issue. Here it is, some 40 years later.
Right.
It's still in the news.
Right.
And, the tagline that says, 72 cents on the dollar to what men earn. And so back in the day, because they couldn't solve that issue, they decided to hate on men. They decided to hate on all men, it seems like.
Now, are we talking about all women hating on
the women's
men?
lib moms.
The women's lib moms. Okay.
Right. That's kind of where it started.
Okay.
So now here we are decades and decades later, and it just seems like men today are womanized more than ever. I mean, you turn on the on the TV and you see advertising or TV shows or in the media, and men are denigrated, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're a caveman, and that they're worthless. And now that I'm earning money, I don't need you. The sexes are equal. And there has been this blurring of the lines that the sexes are equal. Well, my background is in psychology and biology, and I think Mother Nature is not stupid. If we were meant to have one sex, we would all be amoebas. There are two sexes for a reason. It's not to say that one sex is better than the other. It's just different. It's just different. And I think that one of the purposes of life is to come together and, he brings his strengths and weaknesses, and the woman brings hers, and you sort of meet in the middle and you bring each other up. I think you can't have a women's lib denigrating the opposite sex. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree with that.
Like, if you're going to liberate, you have to liberate both sexes. You have to elevate both sexes, not just one at a time.
True that. However, we come from a past that was definitely not equal. And you have to say that the benefits or the positive thing that happened having women's lib is you can go to work and not expect to have your bottom padded. You can go to work and not be expected to work late, to do everything to please the male boss. I mean, that was what was, and so we had to even it up. We had to sort of get to that point of balance, right?
Yes.
Now, have we overshot the balance? That's what it sounds like.
I think
you're
we
saying.
have.
Okay.
Yes.
So the male bashing, traditional male bashing, my hobby. Not just kidding. It's not my hobby, but for the sake of this show. Men have gotten the short end of the stick. Sorry, I had to get that out of the way. Okay. So men, you're saying, have been ridiculed, bullied. Give me examples, like
made to be second-class citizens. That they're not worthy of our attention. That somehow women are these complicated, deluxe creatures, and men are not. They're just knuckle draggers.
So when women say and men say, I had Dr. John Gray on the show a couple of times, and that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And you do admit that men are different, and men are, and I've had a male panel on the show. Jarvis was actually on that panel the second time.
Okay.
And men will admit we are simple beings.
Right.
We are easy to please. Nice meal. Jarvis is nodding. Nice meal, regular sex, and keep your bodies in shape, and we're super happy. And there's not, if there's, it was funny. The one question I asked, what could women do more of? And they all looked down at the same time. It was very funny. I'll let you guess what that meant.
Yes.
So what do you say? Are you saying that is not a proper representation, that they're simple?
It is a proper representation. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being simple. I mean, men are linear. Look at their bodies. It's all linear. The penis is linear. The bodies are linear. We're the opposite of that. We are curves. Okay. The boobs are curves. The rear end is curves. The private parts down there, it's all curves, right? Okay. It's not to say that simple is bad. Yeah. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's just that we shouldn't discount men for being simple. It's just who they are. It's just who they are. So if they're happy with having 3 things, sex, sleep, and some food, then why are we making them wrong for that?
Well, I don't know if we're making them wrong, but it definitely, when that's all it's about and there's nothing else, and there's no, I guess I'm representing the women in this particular episode, but isn't there some place for respect, for treating a woman in a way that just makes her blossom? Why is that such a difficult concept? I'll give you an example. So I'm a strong woman. Mm-hmm. I know that's a surprise to you, but I still want a man to open my door, and I still want them to pay for my meal, and I still want them to bring me flowers, okay? And to me, that is something that shows me that I am their cat's meow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So I've had a man tell me, I don't give flowers. I never give flowers, so don't expect them. Mm-hmm. He's not in my life anymore, obviously. Mm-hmm. I've had another one who, that's then, right? That's in the past. You wanted equal rights. Right. Open your own door.
Right.
He's no longer in my life. So that's where I get confused as to men who say, that was then, this is now. You wanted equal rights, so do for yourself what you can do, because I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
That's not fun.
By the way, I get letters on the flip side of your story. Men write to me to say they are holding the lobby door or the restaurant door, or they are opening up the car door, and the women are just slamming it in their face, saying, I can open the door myself. They are trying to be a gentleman. True. And the women today won't let them.
Not all women today will.
Not all.
I will let you all and every time. And I think that there are, again, I think that there's, I'm generalizing, I'm guilty of it too, saying that all men or most men are now in that camp. And I know that they're not. Jarvis yells at me all the time, that a real man does walk on the car side of the street. The real man does open the door for you. And I'm like, well, I ain't meeting them. So somewhere the real men are dropping off the face of the earth or something.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, those women who are saying, don't open the door for me, I can do it for myself. That's not the majority either. Mm-hmm. That is not 88% of the women that I know anyways. Yeah. I know I always say there's 2% in every population who the squeaky wheel that gets the voice, and then people make assumptions or generalizations based on those 2%. Right. So if we can agree, if you're representing the men and I'm representing the women, if we can agree to drop those 2% extremes, outliers, and deal with the majority, now we can have a discussion. So now I'm going to ask you, and if you've tuned in and you're listening to this quite interesting, a little bit heated, but good debate between men and women. You are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the new Asian Dr. Ruth, determined to make pleasure a G or a G-spot rated topic. I'm here with my co-host today, Linda Gross, every last week of the month. And we're talking about men who have been overly minimized now as a result of women's lib and a result of equal rights, equal pay. So do you feel that most men now are emasculated based on this treatment?
Yes, they are.
And
They
how
are.
how is that showing up?
Here's how they're coping with it. And as you said earlier at the top of the show, I interviewed 20,000 men, not 20,000 people.
20,000 men.
to write the men's book, Mastering Women. They are going to either extreme. They're either going over there to sit in the corner by themselves because they have checked out. They don't get the new dating rituals and the new dating rules. So they think, since women are equal, some woman is going to hit on me. So I'll just sit over there in the corner and wait for the woman to do all the work.
Okay.
She'll take the risk. She'll get my number. She'll pay for half the check. We're going to go Dutch. It's all good. It's all on the woman because I don't know what she wants anyway. So we might as well just let the woman take the lead.
Okay. What percent of that?
Probably about 15%, I'd say, of men have checked out.
Okay. Now, checked out or gotten the ball and run with it? Because
taking the ball and run with it is a male action is a male quality.
Right.
So no, they're not running with any
because
ball.
I've met men who are like,
well, I'm going to get to that group of men. That's my other
okay,
group.
Good. Sorry, go ahead.
The other group have decided I'm not playing by these women's lib rules either. So they've all become players, that group. So, they're just going to go back to their animal instincts. Their animal instincts are, let's just have sex. We're not here for a relationship. We're just going to go for the physical release. And, men's bodies, because of our hormones, because of testosterone, unlike us, they have to release. So whether they're using their hand or they're using a woman, they have to release. That's what that testosterone dump does. They have to make that happen. So they don't understand the rules. They think the rules are not fair. So they've checked out in a different way. They're just going to be a player. So they're going to cheat on you. They're going to see you once or twice or whatever, and they're moving on to the next woman because they don't want to deal with you. It's just too complicated, too hard. There's nothing in it for them.
Too hard.
Back in our
very hard.
Yeah, back in our mother's generation or our grandmother's generation, there were, shall we say, a trade of services, meaning that the woman stayed home, took care of the family, the laundry was clean, the shirts were ironed, food was on the table at 6 o'clock. So today's woman isn't having any of that.
Right. And
so she wants all the goodies, but there's nothing from her end that is helping the man. She's not meeting the guy halfway.
Okay, I see that a little differently. I see a woman not only having to take care of that end of the spectrum because we are really good nurturing and we are really good with kids, not better or worse, but differently, right? We have that nurturing and we have the estrogen versus the testosterone. So we do all of that and we do everything else. Right. And we do the work and all of the things that we need to do. So that to depict a woman as taking advantage or wanting it all from a man, I don't know, something you said triggered me in that, obviously. But that we don't treat a man well because we want everything outside of the house now. That's not so you, I think I heard you say we treat a man poorly. We're not we're not following the contract.
Not that it's poorly. But
Okay.
back in our, in previous generations.
So the
there was
agreement
sort of
was-
a trade-off.
right. We
like, I'm
stayed
going to go
home.
slay the dragons and bring home the bacon.
Right.
And the mom's job was, feed the kids, do the homework, give them a bath,
Right.
take care of the household,
Yes.
take care of the social calendar. So there was a trade-off.
Right.
So there has to be a new trade-off. If guys aren't getting anything for their output, they don't want to play. It's like, why should they play?
But they come home and they still expect a meal on the table and the kids.
They expect
done.
it, but they're not getting it.
Well, many of the women that I work with, successful, very hardworking single moms or working moms, they feel like a little bit shafted because not only, we wanted the career,
Right.
and so we expected some balance in the
Right.
man stepping up and taking over some of the things at home. And that doesn't happen. So the man works all day hard, comes home and wants the woman to still, come to the door with a martini.
He gets to
yes.
kick his feet up and he gets to relax and she's still going
and
for another
she's
4 or
still
5
going.
hours.
Exactly. So
Right.
I
That's
don't
not
think
fair
is-
either.
That's not fair.
Right.
Okay, we agree on that.
Yes.
So that's not fair. So yes, so we can agree that what has shifted. So we came from a misogynistic environment,
Right.
where the man and there's, I'm sure some of my feminist listeners are just like cringing right now because that whole hunting gathering, and that's what a woman should be doing because that's the way she's built.
Right.
I don't know if I don't know if I agree with all of that. I also don't agree with all of the, it's just such a complicated subject. So I don't agree also with a woman only doing, because I watch children who really want to have parents at home. And I feel that too, because if, all I can do is give my personal experiences. When I coach people and they say, I can't see I have a real trouble with quitting my job because I love my kids and I really want to stay home, but I really want my career. I really get kudos from my career.
Right.
And that's a real issue. And I've shifted on this. Before I said, nope, your job is as a mom.
The male
your
is
first
saying
6
this
years,
or the female?
the female saying this.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
female saying this. So are you saying that what can a man do to support a woman who wants to do both? Or really, can a woman not do both?
It's so hard.
Isn't it?
It's a big myth to say you can do it all. You really cannot. Probably the one singular thing that I have found actually works is you have to go on a date night with your husband. You have to. Once a month, twice a month, if the budget will allow. You have to unplug from everything, not talk about the kids, not talk about work, not talk about laundry, and go back to dating mode when you were, in love and you really couldn't wait to see your partner. The couples who do that, they stay very happily married. Unfortunately, we live in such a busy world. Everything is demanding our attention right now. It's so hard to do that, but you have to make, your marriage and your partnership a
Absolutely.
priority.
I agree with that. So tell me what the top 5 things that you were surprised at that came out of the interviews.
For the men, they wanted to know, why does nice guy not work? Because women all day long, they keep saying, I want a nice guy. I want a guy who makes me laugh. It's another myth, by the way. They don't want that. All these myths.
I want a guy that makes me laugh.
No,
Yes,
you
I
don't.
do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you want something more than that.
Well, I mean, it's part of that. It's part of that. I don't want to laugh in the bedroom. I don't want him to take off his clothes and I start
Right.
laughing. That's
Right.
not what I want. But I do want to laugh.
Right.
A
And
guy that gets my humor and I get his. Oh my gosh, that's like so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, these guys are, chasing their tail, trying to be a nice guy. You're saying, oh, honey, I need that living room wall repainted. And there you are. Or, oh, honey, I need you to go help me, go tire shopping this weekend. And they're there. And, oh, honey, my computer broke down. Would you help? And so they're doing all those nice guys nice guy things, but still not getting the respect and appreciation for it. And in fact, worse yet, it backfires, and then they get put in the friend zone. Jarvis, you know I'm right, don't you?
My assistant producer is laughing. You better get on the mic soon because he's agreeing. I told him, I said, you can either agree or disagree because this is going to be interesting. But, okay, so go ahead. Keep going.
Because those nice guy thing, I'm not saying to the guy, don't be a nice guy ever. I'm saying for the first 90 days,
don't be a nice
show that
guy?
card. No, don't show that card. She's got to earn it. She's got to earn it. You don't just give it to her free. You know, you don't give the candy away for nothing. She's got to be what you expect out of the woman, you know?
Okay.
She's got to be charming. She's got to call you back. She's got to return your texts. She's got to, you know, whatever floats your boat, you have to see signs that she's participating in this relationship as well. So don't give away the nice card so easily without seeing that where's the reciprocation?
Okay.
Am I getting my needs met as well?
I can actually check that. That's not bad advice for the guy. Just the same way it's not. That's why women should not give away everything in the first 90 days as well, because that's what they want.
That's what they want.
So the guy panel that said it's okay to do it on the first date, I absolutely disagree. I think that we shouldn't give the. Did you?
Guy panel.
And that's why you're the men's advocate.
Because that's biology. That's our animal instinct.
But you're double standarding me, honey. You're saying men don't give it out for 90 days of the kindness, and women give out just because the guys want in their biology?
I'm not saying for women to give it up the first day. I'm saying I understand why a guy would give you that answer.
Oh.
Because it's just biology.
Okay.
So he's got to use his human side of his brain, you know, to delay sexual gratification.
Okay. So there is a responsibility on his side.
Yes.
Okay.
And she should make him wait.
All right.
And I do kind of agree. I think you were talking that day about, you know, well, is she going to be labeled a slut for doing it on the first date? Despite what guys think and say, yes, she is. Yes, she is going to be labeled.
Yes.
So,
I agree.
you know, you have to withhold the goods a little bit on that one, too.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, if you're on vacation, you're never going to see this person ever again, then I guess get into your animal mode. But but if you want it to go somewhere, right? I mean, he's got to respect you too, and a lot of guys don't, you know, will not respect you if you give it up on the first date.
Okay, so
don't you agree?
Nice guy. I agree absolutely. With more agreement than disagreement so far. So if you've just tuned in, we are talking about sex as usual because it's the last week of the month. Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa with co-host Linda Gross, who is the host of the show on KCAA AM 1050 on my CNBC News Radio syndicated channel. The show's called The Men's Advocate, and she's giving dating tips for men instead of women. And that last one was don't show the nice card for the first 90 days until the woman earns it. Give me another one.
And the reason why you don't want to show the nice card right away is because there's no sexual tension in getting a computer or helping her with the tires or painting the wall or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. She has not that the guy has to act on it. You don't have to act on the sexual act, but you have to exude,
prime the pump.
You've got to exude that primal, you know, that sexual tension has to be there. That's why the nice guy gets kicked to the end zone, to the friend zone, because she doesn't feel that sexual tension.
Right.
So it's a balance.
Right.
You don't act on it, but it has to be there for her to want you.
Okay. But what about chemistry? I mean, nice guys, I don't have chemistry with. Now, are you saying that if they weren't so nice, I might have chemistry with them?
Yes, I'm not saying be an a-hole. That's okay. You know, because people ask me, you know, well, you're telling the guys to, you know, don't do the nice guy. So what else is there? No, just be neutral. Just be neutral. You're not being a jerk. You're still being a gentleman. Mm-hmm. You're still being respectable.
Okay.
You're not being, you know, on the other extreme either.
Right.
That's not
so
going to work either. Right.
It's a balance.
So, but you have to do certain things that will let her know that you are interested in her sexually.
Like
what? You can put on her coat and then just maybe hold the fingers there a little bit too long. Or during dinner, you would hold her forearm and then pull away. And so she's going to think, well, what is he doing? And the female mind is like, we always try to fill in the blanks. Like, why is he doing this? At dinner, maybe you're touching knees, but you don't do it like for a long period of time. It's a tease. It's like you do it, you get in there, and you get out.
Is paying for dinner part of that tease? Is opening your car door part of that tease? Is bringing you a flower part of that tease?
For some women it is, and I agree with you. I happen to be one of those women too.
Yeah.
So I like all those niceties.
Yes.
And I try to return the favor. I try to do the niceties in return. So if his favorite drink is whiskey, or whatever, maybe the next time he comes over, I'll pour his favorite, favorite
absolutely.
whiskey. So you have to pay attention to see, what would turn the guy on too. And as he's doing that nice gesture with opening up the car door, as a woman, we can think of nice gestures to do in return.
But when there's no gestures coming this way, it's very difficult to give a gesture that way.
That is true.
Except for one gesture that's in between these
fingers. That is true. And it took me forever many decades to learn the art of reciprocity, because I'm by nature, I'm a giver, give, and it's like you can't be that either, because that's like an extreme. It's out of balance in the other extreme.
Right.
So you have to see and give, and then it has to be this volley. It has to be.
I was
people
on a
take
date.
turns. Not that you're keeping score.
No.
But if it's all giving in one direction, that doesn't work.
It's all about balance.
And then you're incompatible and move on to the next date.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I have grown that way, because I was told once, you have, when I was much younger and much thinner, much hotter, the guy said, you have this "what have you done for me lately" attitude, and that was growth. That was I had to take that in, and I have really tried to. But then I think I went the other way. Ended up in a marriage that cost me almost $500,000 to get out of, and I went totally the other way and gave, and obviously I'm still giving. And in fact, the judge, when the judgment came down, the lawyer looked at the judge and said, "So that's not fair, Your Honor." And the judge looked straight at me and said, "Well, you wanted equal rights, so I have
signing the order."
So I have every reason to be a little pissed off, but I am not. I have really worked to absolutely come to that middle. I am not a man. The man is not a woman. We have different strengths in different areas, and the best approach is that balanced approach to try to get to the middle.
Right.
So when I was taken on this beautiful date a couple of weeks ago, and just treated exactly like a princess, like I've always wanted to be treated, I brought a little gift for him, because I've learned that it is about reciprocity, and you do have to let them know that you appreciate that. So, but
do you know that one way that men feel loved is by being appreciated?
I do know that.
Do you know that how long a sweet smile and a thank you goes? Like, it doesn't have to be a physical gift, but a lot of women, they just expect the guy to pick up the tab, or they just, there's an expectation there, which puts negativity in it for the guy, and that appreciation thing goes a long way.
Yeah. Great point. And we have gotten to the point, actually, we're over to that time of the show where I thank the sponsors who make this possible. So we'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out.
How do you prepare a young teen for the sexual culture they're growing up in today? Science teacher Dave Beck's hilarious and harrowing book, They Asked You What?, does just that. It gives the student, their parents, and teachers the knowledge and tools to deal with the reality of today's overwhelmingly sexual American culture. And it's a great, fun, thoughtful read. Read it yourself. Give it to your teen and/or their teachers. Available for Kindle download and softcover purchase at Amazon.com.
Did you know that women are capable of over 11 different kinds of orgasms, and yet 87% of women are sexually unsatisfied? Did you know that 9 out of 10 couples desire deeper intimacy in and out of the bedroom? If you desire more pleasure, better orgasms, and a more sacred sensual connection, visit DebbieWardTantra.com and get your free female orgasm guide to uncover the top 3 blocks preventing you from having the pleasure, intimacy, and orgasms you crave. That's DebbieWardTantra.com.
And welcome back to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon at Universal Broadcasting Network, and Thursdays and Saturdays on my syndicated CNBC News radio station, KCAA AM 1050. And today it is Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa, that monthly series that is very popular. I wonder why. And today we have the author of at first, when I read the first part of the title, I was like, what do you mean mastering women? That sounds like we're going backwards once again into a misogynistic environment. But actually, it's a guide. It's a guide to try to balance out.
Well, there are 2 definitions of the word master.
Okay.
One is master and slave, that somebody is subservient.
50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other definition of master is like Tiger Woods. You're an expert at your field. You're an expert at golf. You have mastered golf.
Maybe not anywhere else, but
right.
You've mastered golf.
Right. So,
I don't know if I would use him as an example. Let's use Michael Phelps as a master.
Well, he's got a shady.
Yeah, that's true, right? Right? Is there anyone
well?
left? We lost Bill Cosby on that. We lost. Anyways,
Jordan or whoever it is.
Yeah, no, Nelson Mandela.
There.
Nelson Mandela, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Okay, we're good now.
There are a few.
We had to go spiritual to get there, right? Okay, so
I have a few men who actually tell me that they read the book 4 and 5 times with a yellow highlighter. That it is their Bible. That everything you want to know about women and every situation that you can think of that you've encountered, that you've had roadblock after roadblock and not getting anywhere, that they read my book and it's like, oh my God, it's like the key that unlocks the door. It's like, that's where she's coming from? I had no idea.
Now, I'm going to have to do the moose on the table question. What makes you feel like you can answer for all of the women in the world?
That's a good question. Well, as a little girl watching Women's Lib, I just did a head slap at the time, and I thought, what are you women talking about? Don't you know that women have all the power anyway? It's just that we didn't use it. And I look at someone like Jackie Kennedy. There was a very famous summit that she and her husband, the husband and she went to Paris to sign this particular treaty. And, normally this sort of thing is presidential level. It's executive level stuff, right? It's the treaty that has to get signed. She took that whole seminar, that whole convention, whatever you want to call it, summit, I guess they call it, and she had everybody looking out of the palm of her hands. It was not a for sure thing that JFK was going to get that treaty signed.
What was she able to?
Because of her feminine ways, her feminine power, with her charm and grace and ability and her ability to be social. She turned that whole thing around where all the guys at the summit were eating out of her hand, and they actually handed the treaty to her.
So the bottom line,
to sign, and the famous Kennedy line is, "I'm the guy that just happened to accompany Jackie Kennedy to this to this summit." Mm-hmm. So he was like a byproduct. He didn't even have to be there. She could have gotten that summit signed herself.
So the application for strong women, is can we have equal rights, okay, and not be subject to abuse at work and at home, which is one of the reasons why the whole march happened and why the whole effort happened. And I will, to this day, not condone any of the past, and I will not blame the women's movement because the good that it did to bring us to where we are is absolutely phenomenal, and it had to be. I will agree that in that push or in that effort, in the efforting, we may have lost our power.
Right.
We may have gained our power in business or in strategic planning or all the things that are no longer just in a man's domain, but we've lost our ability to connect with our feminine power.
Right.
Which is the charm and the
Sensibility.
appreciation and the sensitivity and the vulnerability, all of that. And that I will give you.
Yeah.
That I will give you.
Okay.
So what else in the 20,000 interviews did was surprising to you?
You know, when just touching base on this last question, I think for so many decades, if not centuries, we have seen how men have conducted themselves in business. And typically, the guys who are at the top, they are aggressive, they are risk takers. And I'm not saying for women to not have those qualities. You need like a whole, menu of qualities when you're up at the top.
Right.
But let that not be your only quality, because unfortunately then you get labeled, I know it's a double standard, but you get labeled the B word because you're too aggressive and too, the lion's mouth that's roaring and always roaring. And, there are other ways to solve the same problem.
Yeah.
So for some reason or another, I think women have gotten away from using our immense power, immense feminine power that we have, that we could probably solve the same problem in a different way.
Yeah.
We don't
faster.
We don't have to act like men to get the job done.
Yeah. But
so,
yes,
that
is
it's
true.
like, where are young girls learning that today? I don't think they're learning that.
But
it's a lost art.
However, I still I remember vividly a panel that I was on at UCLA. I taught there for 6 years, and there was me, a young doctor, and then an older generation lawyer and an older generation businesswoman. And the older generation were still teaching, you have to act like a man, you have to be like a man, you have to stand like a man, you have to dress like a man. And the young doctor kicked me under the table, and I looked at her and she looked at me, and it's like, wow. And then I got a slap in the head. It's like, it's because they did that.
Yeah. My own mother did that to me.
Got where we are now. So we cannot blame or condemn them or say they were wrong because of that strength that they showed and had to show. Jackie is a great example, but Jackie was one. Maybe Audrey Hepburn as well, I would put in that category. But it is because of those pioneers who said no, like strongly, like a man, did we get to where we are now.
Right.
I'm sorry. I cannot say that was an error in the direction for women's development.
I'm not saying that it's an error, and maybe that's the path that we had to take to make it work. I don't know. I'm just saying
it was the path.
Right. I'm just saying
we don't know if it was the best path, but it was the path.
Right.
So
I'm just saying that many, many decades have now gone by. Do we still need to operate from that place?
Absolutely.
Because maybe there needs to be a rebirth and a regrowth to, the sexes are just so divided now, I see.
Yeah.
And we need to come together and figure out ways to come together rather than tear ourselves apart even further. So
I got a question from a listener. So are you saying that are we going back to a place where a man is supposed to take care of a woman?
I have the woman's book too.
Okay.
The woman's book is called Hitched in 90 Days or Less. And I teach women in that book to be so adorable, so irresistible, so desirable that the guy is tripping over himself to propose to you within 90 days. And so the insight that I learned...
That's assuming you want them.
Yes.
Okay.
Assuming that you want that. Don't pick up the book if you don't. But
right.
Or it could just be for any relationship. You don't have to get married, but to just be that adorable woman, that irresistible woman. Who wouldn't want to be irresistible, right? So the insight that I've that I used came from interviewing these 20,000 men. I mean, what better secret is there than to have that in your back pocket to see what men are really up to? What is it that they really want?
Right.
And so in the woman's book, I say, especially for us strong women, because, we're slaying dragons all day long and, we're type A personalities and whatever, pick a guy who's at least 1% more of a man than you are. Because it's not going to work any other way.
Right.
Because the counter to
Well,
that
is controlling, though? Is that power?
No, it's
controlling. What do you mean more of a man?
Take charge, take charge, take a risk, make reservation, like whatever it is. It's like it can't all be us doing all the work.
True, but if we don't do it, they don't do it. If I don't make
then he's not the right guy.
Okay.
He's not the right guy. Throw him back in the ocean. He's not the right guy. Because the counter to that is then we start getting into our ugly female behavior, which is manipulation and controlling and nagging. And like, who wants to be that woman? That's not cool.
Shut up, Jarvis.
So if he's not taking charge, then you got to throw him back. And so I had a really hard time personally.
That's difficult.
It's very difficult
because if
I had
you're
a hard
strong
time.
woman,
I know.
How do you find a 1% stronger than you? I mean, guys that on LinkedIn and Facebook that approach me with the "Hey, hi," or "This is who I am." Yeah. Who are you?
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Like, I know this isn't a dating site, but how would you like to talk? And is that supposed to be an approach?
Turning you on? No.
Okay, good.
No.
Good. Okay. So I have because we only have a couple more minutes. Yeah. What is the ideal after 20,000 male interviews?
Yes.
What is the ideal beginning, middle, and end, or beginning and into a relationship behavior of a man and a woman? Okay? So, two people, case scenario, you meet someone, your eyes meet, there's an attraction.
Yes.
What's next?
Probably, I think one of the best ways to meet is to have a common interest or have something.
Okay, let's say we already did that.
So let's say you're at the
jazz festival.
Yeah, you're at the jazz club, or you like that jazz musician, so do I. Blah blah blah. That's an instant icebreaker.
So you start talking. The man talks to the woman first, or the woman talks to the man first?
It could be either way. I talk to people. I talk to people all day long, and it doesn't necessarily have to be.
He doesn't ask you out. He doesn't ask for your number. Does the girl ask for the number?
I say no.
No.
No, because men are slower than us.
Okay. So then so that's a missed opportunity for him.
Yeah.
And you. And you just don't say anything.
Then you got to have the book that says How to Be So Irresistible, where he's not missing the opportunity. Because there was something that she did or didn't do.
But you just said he was slow.
Well, he can be slow, but still, there's stuff that lights his fire.
So if he's attracted enough,
yes,
he will ask you for a number.
And if
he doesn't
shy,
ask you for your number,
because a lot of guys hide behind the I'm too shy.
Right?
No, I've seen guys who are shy as a snail, and they're still asking too.
So here's to women: if you meet a guy and you think there's an attraction, but he doesn't ask for your number, he's just not that into you. That's what you're saying based on So then you don't throw him back because you never had him. So then you go out again, and let's say he does ask for your number. Okay,
right.
So then what happens? You wait for him to call you.
The number one quality that men are looking for when they first meet you. Just be chill. Just be fun.
Okay.
That's the number one quality. How hard is that to do? Really?
Practically?
Like,
let's translate that.
Don't be thinking about.
I'm going to call you. Okay.
Yeah.
How do I know you're fun? You don't go, so when are we going to get together? We don't say that.
The woman doesn't say that.
Woman just says, how are you? What are you up to? Whatever. You wait for them to say, what? If they say, if they say, so you want to grab a coffee? I'm like, grab a coffee? I would like you to ask me out on a date.
Yeah.
How would you go out to dinner with me?
Right.
On Friday or Saturday? What works better for you? It's been so long since I get the so when can we get together? Okay. So
the guy's not being a leader.
Thank you.
He's not being a leader, so that's not a good match.
He's got
to lead. He's got to take the initiative.
I'm throwing a lot of fish. There's going to be a lot of fish in the sea. So So then he says, if he says, and
maybe you're
he
at the
wants
jazz
you-
festival, he
Okay.
might say, let's get a glass of wine. I don't know
Okay.
if coffee is appropriate at a jazz festival, but, and if you're into wine, sure,
I don't
follow
drink,
him
but that's
over.
okay. I'll
know,
have
or it
whatever.
could be a soda or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
So then,
that would be a good
you go.
opening.
So then you're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. What should a woman not say, according to your
Yeah.
interviews,
Women-
that turns them off?
Women are very, just by nature, relationship oriented. And where is this going? And is he going to ask me out? And the babies and the house and the picket fence. Don't even go there. Just be fun. Just, who doesn't want to be around somebody who's fun? You ever been to a party and somebody walks in and you can just tell that person's fun. I want to go hang out with that person.
Right,
Be
right.
that person one-on-one with this guy, because that's all the guy is looking for. And that in and of itself should get the digits rolling here.
And then if a guy on the second date says, "I want us. I want a relationship with you."
Usually guys are not that fast, but okay.
Okay,
Not
so
that fast.
yeah, I know, but
They're
if
slow.
they are,
Do you know that we know in 5 to 15 minutes, we know if this is a good partner for us. Guys, takes 90 days. So you got to be on his timetable.
I know,
you can't
but
force
if
it,
they're but
because
if
he'll run.
No, but if you're feeling the 90 days and they're feeling the 15 minutes,
Yeah.
that's
No,
a
they're
little
feeling
weird.
the 15 minutes for sex. I don't think they're feeling the 15 minutes to have a relationship with you.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I don't know. He's back in the sea now, so
Oh.
we'll never know on that one. But thank you so much. Your book you can get on Amazon, and you can get your show.
Yes, on KCAA every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And you can get it from the KCAA website, kcaradio.com/advocate, or you can get it on the TuneIn app. Lots of different ways.
Wonderful. And I am going to thank you, Linda Gross,
Thank you.
the men's advocate, literally, for being on my Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa. We are at the end of the show where I invite you to my balance bar, where I get to tell you where I am so you can meet me at the end of this month on Saturday. It's actually in my purse. I was supposed to get the flyer out. The Raj Music Festival. I will be singing with the absolutely amazing Agape International Choir. And if you missed last week's interview with the founder of the festival, Dr. Ricky Byers Beckwith, also the wife of my big brother, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, then you'll have to see it because it is a great show. I've never gotten so many backhanded compliments from her in my life. But please do join me on Saturday. It's in Woodland Hills. If you go to rajfestival.com, you will get all of the information. We've got great music. We've got family fun and more details if you watch that show. As well, my free Asian Oprah giveaway today is 3,000 free tickets to that Raj Music Festival. So you can go directly there and tell them that Dr. Marissa says you could have a free ticket. Just kidding. It is free. So you can bring as many people as you'd like and enjoy a day of music and me. You get to, I'm doing spontaneous classes with balanced Tai Chi Gong as well. The 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa continues. September 1st will be round 51. And if you'd like to help me build the app game version for that fast, go to www.gofundme.com/HRAXLO. And then finally, in October, I will be at the Asian Women Entrepreneurs Luncheon at the Anaheim White House. If you'd like to support a wonderful organization that helps Asian women with education and get ahead, that would be awesome. Next week, I have author Milena Embarras, who wrote a very interesting book, Out of Transylvania, and she will be next Tuesday, so tune in to take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. It's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
Learned to cry at an early age people around me.
Art Bell is back, and KCAA is his home in the Inland Empire.
There are a lot of people who think that we are Martians, that there's a strong possibility that we are Martians. That's why I said us. No, I'm serious. There was a civilization on Mars. That life had been us or our ancestors.
Nobody is more captivating than Art Bell.
Now, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there is something here that defies logical explanation.
Tune into the best, Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell.
The only way you're going to get the American people to pony up the